Good instructions given by the ref in the early going. Mike gets it up with the right hand, and ATN is down. He was really there with a flush right hand. It's up to 5.
The ring is now set for a showdown between two of the sport's biggest names, Jake Paul and Mike Tyson. This fight promises to be nothing short of electrifying, with Jake Paul's youthful energy and social media clout squaring off against Mike Tyson's legendary status and sheer power. Oh, and did you catch that Jake Paul recently scored his 10th victory? Yeah, some critics might be silenced, but the gossip mills are still churning with doubts about the quality of his opponents. And let's not forget the endless talks about Mike Perry's boxing experience and the size difference. Regardless of the naysayers, there's no denying the magnetic pull of the problem child. Jake Paul has become a must-watch sensation, not just for his knockout punches, but for the way he keeps the spotlight firmly on himself. His rise to fame has everyone buzzing, wondering if he can hold his own against a titan like Tyson.
You are just so destructive.
Yeah, I don't know how he took all those, but
I knew that was going through your head as well.
I was like, bro, what the fuck? Just give it up, dude.
Yeah.
Just give it up. Or his corner just stopping the fight.
Yeah.
Jake Paul's ambitions are as towering as his 6'5" frame, pushing him to seek ever greater challenges. The YouTuber turned boxer is not only gaining momentum, but also garnering support from some surprising quarters, including the top people of contemporary boxing. Terence Crawford is on the brink of his light middleweight debut against Israel Madav, set to take place at BMO Stadium in Los Angeles in just 10 days. While Crawford is keen to make his mark in a third weight division, there's a possibility he's eyeing an even bigger challenge, a showdown with Canelo Alvarez. This aligns him with Jake Paul, who is also striving for greatness. On a recent episode of MMA Hour with Ariel Helwani, Crawford, the former undisputed welterweight champion, emphatically stated that it's high time Jake Paul gets the respect he's earned. Crawford's endorsement is no small feat. It brings a new level of credibility to Jake Paul's boxing journey. As Paul continues to climb the ranks, he's catching the eye of not just fans, but also seasoned professionals in the boxing world. This growing recognition is a testament to Paul's relentless dedication and hard work, slowly but surely silencing his skeptics. With influential supporters like Crawford and ambitious goals within his sights, Jake Paul is making waves. His transition from YouTube star to serious boxer is evolving into a compelling story of grit and determination, earning him a great respect in the boxing community. While driving through Las Vegas, Terence Crawford wasted no time bringing up the hot topic, Jake Paul's latest fight. Of course, Crawford had watched it, and Helwani quickly got to the point, eager to hear the opinion of one of the world's best boxers on the bout. Crawford didn't hold back. While he noted that Paul could use some stamina work, he was quick to praise his boxing chops. Unlike many YouTube boxing hopefuls, Jake Paul is dedicated to his training, improving every day, Crawford remarked. Still, the looming showdown with Mike Tyson is on everyone's mind. However, Crawford isn't rushing to buy tickets for the Paul-Tyson fight. He pointed out that Tyson, despite his legendary status and immense contributions to the sport, isn't at his peak anymore. "I wouldn't want to see Mike get hurt in the ring," Crawford said, expressing genuine concern. The situation, according to Crawford, is further complicated by Tyson's new medical issue, adding uncertainty to this highly anticipated match. Turning the spotlight to the future of our problem child, Jake Paul dished out his ambitions in a chat with Ariel Helwani. Helwani speculated that Paul might be eyeing a cruiserweight division bout, or even a championship fight. Terence Crawford, ever the optimist, echoed a positive outlook on what Paul could achieve, especially with that strong right hand of his. Crawford then emphasized that Paul has been building his resume from scratch, just like any other boxing hopeful. Sometimes big names try to ride on Jake's wave of popularity for their own fame and fortune, Crawford noted. But according to him, Jake is climbing the ranks the old-fashioned way, step by step, not by immediately chasing a title. Jake is still in the learning process, so, he's taking his time, and that's what he should do. Take his time, keep getting better, keep learning new tricks and things like that in the ring, and keep getting more experience, he added. He believes that when Jake is ready, he might face a legitimate boxing match. In Crawford's eyes, those early years are crucial for developing ring IQ, building stamina, and mastering the nuances of boxing. It's only after laying the solid foundation that a boxer can improve and move on to bigger, more noteworthy fights. It's clear that Jake Paul's fans might view this as a winning strategy. When such praise comes from one of boxing's best, it carries serious weight. Meanwhile, Joe Rogan didn't hold back when sharing his thoughts on who would come out on top between Mike Tyson and Jake Paul. Tyson's age has been a hot topic, given that he's 30 years older than Paul and hasn't fought professionally since 2005. Yet UFC analyst Rogan is adamant that Tyson still has what it takes to crush Paul. On his podcast, Rogan said, "Forget that Jake Paul is a YouTube guy and just watch him fight. The kid can fight 100%. That Tommy Fury fight really showed that. It goes to a split decision against a legit undefeated boxer."
I always tell people, just forget that Jake Paul is a YouTube guy and watch him box.
Yeah.
The kid can fight 100%. And that Tommy Fury fight really showed that. I mean, it goes to a split decision against a legit undefeated boxer.
Yeah. He doesn't want to tell you what the one thing he doesn't want to do is fight Mike.
I don't give a fuck if he's 55. That's still Mike Tyson.
As for Tyson, Rogan added, "I don't care if he's 58. That's still Mike Tyson. That's still Mike Tyson. He trains with Rafael Cordero, who's a legend in MMA." Rogan spilled some fascinating things about Mike Tyson, mentioning how in today's world of hormone replacement and vitamins, Tyson's training routine also includes electrical muscle stimulation recovery techniques. He pointed out that Tyson's preparation for his fight with Roy Jones Jr. involved advanced technology. Despite Tyson being 58 years old, Rogan is convinced that he can still deliver serious damage. On his podcast, Rogan painted a vivid picture. Imagine Jake Paul stepping into the ring and seeing Tyson bobbing and weaving. He'd have a moment of sheer realization thinking, "Oh my God, that's really Mike Tyson." Rogan continued, "Even at his age, Tyson's power is the last thing to go, and incredibly, his speed is still there. It's terrifying." During his bout with Roy Jones Jr., it seemed like there was an unspoken agreement for Tyson not to punch him in the face because most of his hits, except for jabs, targeted the body.
That will hurt you. If Jake Paul's on the other side of the ring and he sees Mike Tyson just fucking bobbing and weaving, he's going to look over and go, "Oh my God, that's really Mike Tyson." That guy can still fuck you up.
He don't want to fight Mike.
I don't give a fuck if you think he's 55.
Jake Paul's recent sixth-round knockout victory over Mike Perry has set the stage for a much-anticipated November showdown with Mike Tyson. However, the announcement has sparked a flurry of controversy. Critics are quick to point out that Tyson, now 58, is far removed from his prime, during which he was one of the most feared fighters in the world. Tyson's last victory was way back in 2003, when he knocked out Clifford Etienne. Paul, on the other hand, is a 27-year-old with a 10-1 record. While his performances have been inconsistent, his 7 knockout victories indicate that he's no pushover. Despite the swirling doubts, former UFC welterweight champion Tyron Woodley, who has spent significant time in the ring with Paul, believes this fight is worth the hype. On the Fighter vs. the Writer podcast, Woodley said, "I'm a fan of the fight. Sure, Mike Tyson is almost 60, but are you trying to see Mike Tyson? So he's still got the same fear in your heart that he had a long time ago." Woodley couldn't wait to weigh in on Paul's victory over Perry, especially as a member of the broadcast team. Reflecting on the bout, he noted Perry's disadvantage in height and size. Woodley had expected Perry to channel a strategy reminiscent of Tyson's own methods for overcoming such disparities, but Perry fell short, and Woodley thinks that's what sealed his fate. "I know Mike Perry has been training that style long before his UFC days," Woodley remarked. "I've seen all his training videos, heard him rave about the Mike Tyson peekaboo style. The concept is simple. When your opponent throws a punch, you slip it and close the distance. You're gaining ground, buying real estate. Whether it's a jab or a cross, if you're good enough to see it and evade it, you must be quick enough to step inside and capitalize." Woodley elaborated on how Perry's failure to fully adopt this technique was crucial. In contrast, Tyson's mastery of slipping punches and immediately countering has been a hallmark of his legendary career. Perry's inability to replicate this dynamic approach was evident, highlighting the precision required to execute Tyson's signature style.
He hasn't done that tonight. I wonder if that's a change of plan with it.
Oh, what a left. A fighter cannot be saved by the bell as the big right hand lands. Tyson knows he's got him in big trouble. If he doesn't answer it, Richard Steele...
Tyson, being shorter than many of his rivals, leaned heavily on those killer hooks. Perry, on the other hand, couldn't dodge a jab to save his life. Perry's hands were almost at his sides, and he didn't move in or out effectively. Woodley pointed out that Tyson, thanks to his coaches, didn't have these issues. His style was practically invented for him and worked wonders throughout his career. Tyson's approach might not fly against today's top heavyweights, but it's perfect for someone like Paul, who's still finding his footing. Woodley emphasized how Tyson drilled the same moves thousands of times under Cus D'Amato's meticulous training. Tyson was a custom-built powerhouse, designed for his specific frame and incredible strength. This was a style crafted just for him, one that didn't exist until Tyson made it his own. He pointed out that Tyson's hand positioning was one of a kind. Unlike most fighters, he kept his hands at his chin instead of high on his head because he could take a hit to the forehead without going down. When Tyson slipped offline, he was always at the perfect distance, something Perry just couldn't manage. Woodley said, "People watch it and try to mimic it, but if you don't do the drills, you're missing steps, missing the small techniques that make a huge difference in real time." Tyson hasn't forgotten any of that. If Tyson can tap into those old skills and bring back his infamous power, Paul could be in big trouble. Woodley believes that if Tyson has a flashback to his prime and channels that energy against Jake Paul, the fight would be over in no time. He suggested that the only reason Paul even stands a chance is because of Tyson's age, making it more of a fair fight. Paul's youth and unpredictability combined with Tyson's vast experience, 60 professional fights, world titles, and his fearsome reputation make for an intriguing matchup. Woodley even compared Tyson to John Jones, noting that while Jones is the best MMA fighter, he doesn't inspire the same fear as Tyson, who was intimidating both in and out of the ring, pet tigers and all. Woodley wrapped it up by saying this fight is going to be something worth watching. Jake Paul's fights always stir up a storm, with everyone wondering if he's the real deal or just putting on a show. His latest win against bare-knuckle legend Mike Perry got people talking, especially Darren Till, who was supposed to be on the undercard. Till, who stepped back from high-level competition, called the fight weird and almost fake. He said it seemed scripted because Perry, who usually dominates, didn't look right, and Paul was gassed after one round, which didn't seem normal to him. This isn't the first time Paul's victories have been questioned. There were plenty of skeptics after his knockout of Tyron Woodley in 2021 and his win against Anderson Silva. But despite the doubts, Paul keeps calling out big names, now even challenging the UFC's Alex Pereira. While a fight with Pereira is unlikely due to UFC politics, a match with Darren Till could be on the horizon. Till claims he would destroy Paul, praising his business acumen, but insisting his technical skills would be too much for Paul.
People say everything about weight difference. I was 212 in the ring tonight, so 10-pound difference. That's common in boxing. Alex Pereira rehydrates to 240.
Paul, fresh off his victory over Perry, has his sights set on Mike Tyson next. Despite a health scare that postponed their fight, Paul confirmed it's happening on November 15th on Netflix. Tyson, recovering from a mid-flight ulcer flare-up, said he's ready to knock Paul out. Meanwhile, Paul is confident, even with an injury, and ready to take Tyson's throne. The hype around Paul is real, with his fights attracting huge betting action. ESPN Bet and BetMGM report that Paul's matches draw significantly more bets and money than typical boxing events. His upcoming bout with Tyson is expected to be the most bet-on boxing match in history.